Okay, conditional statements. Okay, conditional statements are made up of two parts. Hypothesis, right? And a conclusion. A conditional statement is an if-then statement. Okay? If I jump up, then I come down. That's a conditional statement. Now, it's not necessarily true or false, right? It's just a conditional statement because I used if and I used then. Okay? So now we're taking what we learned before, that inductive reasoning and conjectures, and turning them into actual statements. Okay? So that we can use our logic to start looking at things. Okay? So a typical thing is if P, then Q. Okay? If P, then Q. Okay? If Sarah is perky, then she's quirky. Okay? Just saying. Okay? Does that make sense? So, if a person is perky, then they're quirky. Well, it's a conditional statement, right? If perky, then quirky. Okay? If then. If they're quirky, then they're perky. Okay? That's all you're saying. You're just saying it backwards. That make sense? Mm-hmm. You're saying what you're saying backwards.
And I'm going down.
Okay? Next. If they're not perky, then they're not quirky. Okay? That's all. If they're not perky, then they're not quirky. That is an inverse statement. It's the original conditional statement, but you put nots on both of them, or negatives on both of them. Okay? And then finally, if they're not quirky, then they're not perky. Okay? Contrapositive. Okay? Contrapositive is just taking the original statement, reversing it as a converse, contra, contrary, right? Converse, right? And then positive, converse to the positive. Converse to the positive because it's negative, right? They're both negative. So they're converses that are negative. They're contrapositive. They're converse to the positive. Okay? That's all this is. So, in problem number 1, okay, all you got to do is tell me if it's a hypothesis and what is the conclusion. Go ahead. All right, so if an animal is a tabby, then it's a cat.
Yeah.
If the animal is a tabby, then it is a cat. Okay? This is problem number 13. Okay? Notice I used the letter T for tabby and the letter C for cat. So what we're going to be doing is translating these statements into letters. That's it. Okay? If it's a tabby, then it's a cat. Okay? 13?
No, it's triangle square.
No, 2.2. We're in a new
We're
one.
on page 85.
Why didn't you tell me that too?
Alright.
Because Tia's not on my pages.
Number 15. If 8 ounces of cereal costs you $2.99, then 16 ounces will cost you $5.98. In other words, if 8 ounces cost you $3, right? Then 16 ounces cost you $6. Does that make sense? Right? So, if 3, then 6. If 8 ounces cost you $3, then 6 ounces, or sorry, then 16 ounces cost you 6. Right? You notice how I just took a statement and turned it into a symbol. That's it. I take a statement and I turn it into a symbol. Which is the hypothesis, by the way? Which is the hypothesis? The T or the C? Anybody? Somebody? One buddy? Nope, it's not the C. So we'll go with why is it the T? If hypothesis, then conclusion. Okay? So, hypothesis, conclusion. So what's the hypothesis here? Is it 3 or is it 6? Somebody, 3. Why is it 3? Why? Somebody come up with why. Matt, why? Why would it be 3?
Not sure.
Not sure. Good. Lexi,
Can't see.
can't see. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Perfect. Listen, Manny, why is it 3? Tia, help them all out. Why is it 3?
It's after if.
It's after if. That's it. If hypothesis, then conclusion. It's not a mystery, people. Don't make this hard. This is not hard. This is as easy as it's going to get ever in your entire life. Okay? Every time you see an if, it's followed by a hypothesis. Every time you see a then, it's followed by a conclusion. That's it. Ta-da! Okay? Now, we can mix it up, right? We could switch some things around, but that's it. Conditional statement. You should monitor your heart rate of a patient who is ill. Okay? You should monitor your heart rate of a patient who is ill. Well, we're not supposed to do this one because it's even, but how would we write that as a conditional statement? Lexi, you talking?
I'm trying to see if I still put my contacts on. Do I have time?
Well, I'm talking. So listen. Here, I'll give you an easy one. If a batter gets 3 strikes, then he's out. Okay? Oh, I just gave you the conditional statement.
Then
What is it?
the conditional statement.
Yeah.
If he gets 3 strikes, he's out.
Yeah. If
B.
the batter gets 3 strikes, then he's out. That's it. That's all we're looking for. So, how do you think of a batter getting 3 strikes? Give me a letter to represent that.
You said D.
B? Okay. If B, then what?
S.
Yeah.
Then he's out. Then he's out is an S. That's fine with me. Okay? Then he's out. And then he's out means S. Does that make sense? Okay? I would have probably used O because of out,
I'm gonna strike it.
right? Or it's a strikeout. Okay. Hey, is this true? Is it true? If a batter gets 3 strikes,
Yes.
then he's out. Most of the time. Is it always true? Can you hit a foul ball and get a third strike? And a fourth strike? And a fifth strike? And just continue hitting foul balls
No.
all day long? Yeah.
Oh.
Right? So the first foul ball is strike 1. The second foul ball is strike 2. The third foul ball is strike 2. The fifth foul ball is strike 2. Right? So I don't know if they call it a strike and it just doesn't count as a strike, or if it's only counted as a strike on the first hit. I don't know. Seems to me like that's kind of one of those loopholes you could make for, well, it's not always true, because he could get three foul balls and only have 2 strikes, then he's not out. But technically he has 3 strikes and he's not out. Does that make sense? So I could make a case that this isn't true. And that would be my counter example. Right? Now, could I turn this conditional statement into a converse statement? How would I do that? Turn this conditional statement into a converse statement.
Switch
Okay?
it around.
Yes. So if B, then S. And a converse would be what? That's it. Is this starting to make sense? Is this right? The hardest part to this is knowing what converse means, right? What contrapositive means, and what inverse means. That's going to be the hardest part. But as far as just switching it around, that's all you're doing. Can you give me an inverse of the original statement? An inverse.
If not B, then not C.
If not B, then not S. Very good. And a contrapositive.
If not S, then not B.
And can somebody read these to me?
If not B, then S.
No. Read that one. If B, then S.
Oh, if
But
B,
tell me what it means. If the batter
if the batter
gets 3 strikes, then he's out. Right? Okay? If the batter gets 3 strikes, then he's out. Can you give me this one then?
If the 3 strikes, wait, can you reread that person?
It's hard when you use S, and the S doesn't really make sense with the out, right? You use S because of strike, right? So you got to be careful when you're using these things, because it's not going to make a lot of sense, right? If you think of strike every time you see an S. Now, if you think of out every time you think of if the batter has 3 strikes, right? Can't.
Okay,
Recording.
if the batter has 3 strikes, then he's out. If
Yes.
he's out, he has 3 strikes.
Yes! If the batter's out, then he has 3 strikes. All of a sudden, it's more sense if he just has the strikes, right?
Yeah.
If this were S. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got to be able to work it backwards and forwards. Okay? That's it.